Ever come home from a vacation after you've had a wonderful time in the sunshine, feeling relaxed and refreshed, only to realize that your garden went on its own wild vacation without you? Mine looks like a jungle rave. What are you doing today, Maureen? Join me as I tour around this garden and do some harvesting and hopefully some pruning to whip it up into shape before it's time to put this garden back to bed. Now, I have lots of time here because we're not going to get our first frost until November, but you never know, we could have an early frost at any time. So I want to, again, pick some more blushing tomatoes. The last time I was here, I had you all here with me, and we picked quite a few tomatoes. And then while I was away in Mexico, my daughter came through. She probably picked probably double what I had done. So there was a lot, and she said, "Mom, there's still lots out here." So again, I'm picking these ones that have begun blushing somewhat, and I'll just finish ripening them at home. This garden has produced so many tomatoes this year, which I'm grateful for, but it's quite overwhelming just how much. We've already done a few quarts of salsa, quite a few actually, into the 30, 40s. Some more tikka masala. Look at that beauty. Again, these are the ones that are the Nonas. They are the Italian pear style tomato that came from Italy, and they have just been beautiful and robust. It has been very dry here, but over the last 2 days, we just had a really good soaking rain for probably almost 2 days. Look at all this gorgeousness. And that's just from the one side. Now, I could let these ripen, but because I'm not out here all the time, I don't want a ripened tomato to fall to the ground and I miss it, and then it just becomes food for the animals on the ground. So the nice thing about this is that I get to control and watch the tomatoes as they ripen. Once this tomato ripens, then I can go ahead and process it. And there isn't, from what I have read and seen, there isn't a lot of difference between a tomato ripening on the vine and a tomato that you ripen at home on a windowsill. Now, I should be taking the time to kind of cut some of these because, they're just making extra mess. And if it doesn't have any fruit on it, I can take it off, and that's just going to allow the tomato plants to go, okay, we don't have to keep it all green. Where I can, take some off. These here are the Provenzanos. This one I do have to prune off. They are just absolutely beautiful. I don't know if they are as big as the Nonas. Some of these just pop right off, but some I do have to clip them. I do need to come out and, kind of do a picking where I just pick a Provenzano and a Nona and the Franchie giant pear tomato so that I can keep them separate so that I can gather seeds, because these are just going to be loaded, with seeds. I want to, keep using them. Clotheslined. Once these tomatoes have been here, these tomatoes will have had an opportunity to climatize to my environment. Oh, you are blushing. You might be a Nona. I think the Nonas have less ripples on them, but I do have to come out and just do a day where it's like designate which is which, so that I can keep these particular seeds. So far, I've found that all three plants are just fantastic. Their flavoring is good. There is differences in their flavorings. I did a tomato test. I could subtly taste differences, even though all of them are a paste tomato. Oh yeah, down there's a big clump of them on the ground because of the weight. But I think I'm at my maximum with this apron. We have this clump on the ground. Oh, and a slug. So I think I'm gonna pick him up and try to tie him up. So I just hooked the tomato kind of over the cattle panel here because I don't have any clips with me, but this is a Franchie giant pear. This is probably the biggest one that I've got, and these again get up to 1 to 2 pounds. Thank you, Franchie, for growing such a beautiful tomato. So the wagon is almost full because I did do a picking of this one. This trellis came in later. Some of it was just some Nonas that I had left over, this Nona here, and I really wasn't vigilant with staking it up. So some of the tomatoes on the ground, you know, we got to have the little wildlife eat them. And so we will leave those as gifts to them. In this one was a tomato that was given to me called Tiger Ella. And they look like this. So I think they have like the tiger stripes. I've never had them before, but these ones were dropping right off. It does say early, but even though I planted it late, and I'm not sure if you can get to see the light striping on that. So I'm looking forward to trying them, but I just ended up picking any of the green ones because I just thought they're all just gonna drop, you know, they're dropping green or they're even dropping red. But this wagon is plumb full. Here's the last of what I just picked. And so I don't really see any room for any squashes. I did think the spaghetti squash were dead, but as you can see, it's given me more. Now I am seeing some carnival squashes in here. They're not in their pink state, but you know, their curlicue is dry. So I think it's good for me to pick these. They're very cute. You know, and their stalk is very, very stiff. Little worm, you can stay. I do see a spaghetti squash over there. Yeah, there is some coloring coming on them. They usually get some other multiple colors, like they go into some oranges as well. And you, of course, don't actually belong here. Or maybe you do. Maybe you were a late planter, just so I don't step on their stalks. I kind of wish that I would have marked down where did I get these carnival seeds, because these are very, very small compared to what I've grown in the past. So I have to wonder if they came from one of the new seed companies. I'm seeing some over here in the gully, oh, a whole bunch. Let's just take those as well. Let's take that spaghetti squash. You can go back over where you're from. And I think I see another one here in the gully, and the rest of your family here. Go on this side. It's quite a good pocket full of these carnival squashes. I just don't know where I'm going to put them. There's still lots of whatever this squash is in here. I'm not going to pick them today because I have more of the bigger squashes to pick. I'm sure the pumpkins will be all right. They don't need to be picked because, again, I don't really have the space, but I can see, you know, a few have ripened. And there is, I think there's a big one in there. I think he looks like he's going to be pretty big. We've got those cushaws. I'm going to leave those two, even though, well, 3. Oh, there's more in there actually, but I'm going to leave them just because I don't have the space right now. Because deep in here are more of these Georgia candy roasters. Like this second one. And this third one. And this 5th one. And this 6th one. You can see from here that I missed a couple of blushing tomatoes, so we'll pick them up on our way. You know, this is October 1st, and so this is heavy. It's a very interesting position to be in with the garden. I didn't do any fall planting or winter planting, even though on the island here it's very easy to do because our winters are so mild. But when I look over the garden, you know, it's still producing food, but there's also, you know, the browning. And so it is where it's like, oh, plants are starting to be finished for the season. I just noticed this one too. Another great big one. But with things like the zucchini and patty pans, you know, there are still flowers flowering on them. And so they still have the opportunity to produce fruit. And so I'm really grateful that my barrage has been so prolific and just keeps kind of growing itself. I think there was another one over here somewhere. Do you see it? From over there I could. You know what, I think I'm gonna take that one right there. And so with the barrage being here, there's still lots of bees that are here. A barrage is a great pollinator. You can eat it and you can put it into beverages. But one of the great things is that the pollen is rejuvenated within a 24-hour span. So barrage is a good thing to have in your garden. Not necessarily in the middle of it because it takes over. And I still have potatoes in there, but look at how gorgeous that is. So even though it's winding down, it's still giving the food, like I said, which is great for coming into the fall and winter. As I said before, we already made lots of salsa. And then now we're just doing the tikka masala. Today, I'm going to be finishing up making ketchup and just a plain tomato sauce. But when you look at this wagon full of beautiful fresh vegetables, my family will eat. And I will also be selling. So I'm also feeding people in my community with what I'm growing here. Okay, I think it's starting to rain. Yeah, I have to say that this garden allotment that my friends have allowed me to use has been such a blessing. One Hubbard squash as well. Yeah, that probably wasn't the smartest idea. I probably should have just put all the tomatoes in the 2 boxes because we're gonna have to take them out once I get them home anyway. I guess I'm leaving at the perfect time as it's got this nice rain shower that's happening. And it was nice to see the sun was out while I was here because it's been a pretty gray blue day for the last couple of days. And so this little pick-me-up was, I think, a gift for me just to have some extra sunshine. Anyway, I hope you're having a great day wherever you are, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video, which, of course, because we're getting into fall, it'll probably be some videos that will be preparing squash and doing some canning with this plethora of tomatoes. So I hope that you will take the time to subscribe, ring that notification bell so that you won't miss any of the exciting videos that are coming up. Take care. God bless.